and recording. So, a little over a week ago, I reacted to BabyMetal Road of Resistance. And about 3 days after the upload, it got blocked, which is completely fine. I understand. Um, as a preface, I should mention that I enjoyed the musicianship of the band. I enjoyed the singing from the girls. I didn't necessarily think the sounds went together, or at the very least, I didn't enjoy it as a whole. Like, I liked pieces, but I wasn't necessarily a big fan of it. But in the 3 days that it was up, I had a fair amount of comments and suggestions telling me, um, well, you picked the wrong song for your style, for the things that you enjoy, and that you have to understand the idol culture, etc. So, based off the suggestions I got, I think reacting to the song Death is probably the way to go as far as like me getting like maximum enjoyment from them. So I'm giving them another chance. I've also heard a song called Give Me Chocolate, which was also on that lower spectrum for me. So like I said, the musicians are good and the performers are good. I just don't necessarily enjoy them together. But here's another song. They can still win me over.
レジェンド1997。それはメタルの神から伝説のコルセットを授かり、人を捨て神へと生まれ変わる物語。古より定められし遺伝子は時の箱舟に乗り導かれる運命なのだ。黙示録に記された運命の時へ向けて、残された時間はあとわずか。
seems like a good place as any to give it a first stop for copyright purposes. Uh, the band is killing it. Like, god damn, that's so good. It's nice and heavy. So far, the vocals have been kind of minimal. Like, it's just like phrases here and there. So I'm assuming like they're actually gonna jump into it a little bit more and actually start singing a little bit later. But like so far, it's 1,000 times better than like anything by them I've heard so far. But again, that has to do with the fact that it's not actually them doing anything. It's just the band. And as I said before, like the band is really good. I also enjoyed the imagery, like that DNA strand that looked like a rosary bead with the Virgin Mary in the middle. Like that's clever. That's actually super cool and interesting. Um, there's a bunch of people here in the background. The dancing is at a minimum. The singing is at a minimum. So this isn't really giving them a fair opportunity to showcase what the three main girls can do. So there's still about 3.5 minutes left. We'll see what they can actually add to this. All right, so this was a trick, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. Um, this was awesome. It was awesome. I love this like so much. This was great. It was fantastic. I'll get into the breakdown of it in just a sec. But when I say it's a trick, it's because this was focused like 90% on the band and like 10% on the girls, which I understand why you guys suggested that based off of how I reacted to the other song. I liked this so much, but it doesn't feel like it's a good representation of what baby metal actually is. From what I understand about them, from the idol culture and from the kawaii kind of aspects that they bring to the band, this had very limited singing from the girls. It had very limited choreography from the girls. So this was almost entirely the band by itself, which was never an issue for me. Like, I always thought the band was awesome. And I always thought the girls themselves were like good. It was the marriage of the two that didn't necessarily sit well with me, or that didn't necessarily get my full attention and like make me love them. So with this song, with it being focused on the band, obviously I'm going to enjoy it because I already enjoyed the band, and this was great. It was dark, it was menacing, it was heavy, but it doesn't feel like it's a baby metal song. If that makes any sense at all. From an outside perspective, um, I'm trying to find that good middle ground to where I can appreciate their vocal stylings and their presentation. As far as the presentation goes, this was off the charts. Like, I think part of the issue I had with Road of I've already forgotten the name of the song, was the fact that the band and the girls felt separate. Everything was much more incorporated in this performance, especially with the guys in the cloaks coming out. Like, it was much more interactive. It was all part of a whole. It felt more like a collective, and it got my attention a lot more. Like, this was a show. They were putting on a show, and that was entertaining, and I liked that a lot. But again, it's just gonna boil down to having heard just a few songs by them. This doesn't sound like a baby metal song. It doesn't have the three girls or the main singer as a focal point. I'm working under the assumption that they're the focus of the band, and that any song that they do is going to be like over 50% focused on them. So this has the same sort of quality to me as hearing like an instrumental track from like another band, where it's just like, it's good, it's great, it's awesome, I love it. But it's kind of like an outlier, and it's on the fringe of what the actual sound is. So this was a good suggestion to give me, in the sense that it gives me an idea of what their, not just their sound, but what their premise and presentation is. So this was great. This was great. Now I just have to warm up to their voices, their kind of pop vocal sounds, and the choreography that they do, which I'm still not necessarily a big fan of. So it seems like this is the far fringe of what they do. So try if you're trying to get me to enjoy them, walk me towards the center, but stay on that fringe a little bit to like get me going a little bit. I think that's the best suggestion I can give you guys as an audience to suggest things for me, because as it stands, like they're a little too cutesy for me. So the musicianship is always good, and I've never had a problem with that. What's the next step? What's the next logical step? From you have death, you have give me chocolate. I want to stay around this area, and I'll work my way towards the rest of it. So, what do you guys suggest?